Hello everyone. In this video, I shall discuss about the ways of learning or learning styles. First of all, let us discuss about the auditory or musical learners. Now, when we talk about auditory, it implies something relating to hearing, isn't it so? Right. So in this way, we find that some learners can learn better by listening. Okay. So in a way that they are more accustomed. You might have come across, or you yourself was a loud reader. Huh? Did you do so? Especially during the school days, no, we tend to read so loudly. So when we read loudly, we tend to understand things much better. So this is something, when we hear our own voice, we tend to understand it better. Okay, so it is also referred to as musical learners, because we also come across children who seems to learn better while listening to something, listening to light music. Okay, so that shows that the attention power becomes much more higher when some music are going on. So in this way, we see that learning becomes better when we hear our own voice, or otherwise we listen to music, light music and all. So it is related to the ear or a sense of hearing, which is referred to as oral learners. Okay, learners absorbed information through the sound system. So that's all about the auditory or musical learners. I hope you're clear. Coming to the next is visual spatial learners. Now, visual spatial learners implies that those learners who who tends to imagine, okay, or you can say who tends to picturize something while reading. They like to read the thing in a holistic manner. The whole, they like to read everything as a whole. They tend to imagine, they can see the characters they are reading. Okay, they can visualize it. Right? So in this way, we see that some children learn better with this visual spatial learning style. Okay? Are you clear? Let's switch to the next learning style. Coming to the verbal learner, when we say verbal, means it is related to some language. Okay, so in this case, it is referring to both the written and the spoken words. Okay, we often find that some children, they really enjoy with the pronunciation sound. They utter, and when they utter, they are more expressive. through their expression, they tend to remember things better. Okay, or otherwise we see that some learners, while reading, they try to draw something, write something, or make an abbreviation, or so these sort of learners comes under this learning style, the verbal learner. You can term it as verbal learner. Clear? Switching to the next is logical mathematical learner. Okay, now in this case we see that some learners are so interested with numbers, with logical thinking, doing abstract work or assignments. They're not satisfied with the low level assignments and all. They want something more, something that requires higher level of cognitive activities. They're more inclined to those sort of situations where they need to reason out. Okay, so this is all about the logical mathematical learners. Clear? Switching to the next is the physical or kinesthetic learner. Now in this case we find that learning according to some learner, they feel that if they engage with something, they can learn better. Like you must have noticed that some children, again this happens mostly in the school days, they keep on walking and reading. They walk as they read. They play with their fingers. They engage with some other activities. With the movement of hands, head. Clear? The expressions are involved. So these are coming under the physical or kinesthetic learning. So in this case, we see that the physical movement or some actions, they are involved with some actions, some work as they are learning. Clear? So this is about this style of learning. Switching to the next is social, or you can term it as interpersonal learner. I repeat, it is interpersonal learner. So in this case, what happens is that the learner seems to learn better by associating with their peer groups or some people. Maybe involving in a group discussion, maybe taking the portion, the difficult portion, and or maybe the child intends that today I'm going to learn this. So what the child does, the child communicate this matter to the friends or maybe the people with whom they are comfortable with. They say that today we shall discuss about this. So in this way we see that through discussion, by hearing the views of others, by listening to the explanation, by listening to the read aloud portions or portions of the chapters, enables the learner to learn or understand things in a better way. Okay, so this involves both the verbal and non-verbal association. Clear? So there is a strong sense of socializing with this learner. Now, switching to the next is, it is intrapersonal. We spoke about inter, that is socializing, okay, mixing up. Now switching to this word, it is intrapersonal, that is within the individual, within the learner. The learner prefers to be alone. The learner feels that when I learn alone, when there is no interference from outside, then the learner will be able to learn. They seem to engage with their own activities itself. They feel that if I talk much, or if I'm mixing up with the people and all, I will not be able to learn and I will not understand anything. But if I'm alone, isolated in a room, with no disturbance, I feel I will learn better. So this sort of attitude comes under this intrapersonal learner. They like to be alone. So it is also stated as the solitary learner. Okay, so that's all for today. I shall meet you all again in my next lesson. Till then, stay well and namaste.